Hello, I'm Eason, and I review stuff, and it is time for an album review. This time, the new EP by the San Jose Grindcore outfit Skullsmasher, Advanced Disco Theory. Wait, Skullsmasher? Didn't I just review these guys? Well, in the time it took for me to get off my ass and review their 2019 full-length album Rocket Hammer Brain Surgery, they have released another EP and may have possibly finally added a human drummer to their lineup. Although they have in the past indicated that they might have added a drummer but still kept on using a drum machine, so the music in Advanced Disco Theory is still indisputably grindcore, although they have done away with all the crossover thrash influences and have leaned a little bit heavier on the more dissonant death metal side of things this time. The band still features a really extremely raw and beautifully distorted sound. They are heavier, more dissonant, they still have the best snare tone this side of Insect Warfare, but they have become something more monstrous and a lot more darker than they were the last time around. Point of fact, doing away with the more punk-leaning influences of grindcore and completely cutting out all the crossover thrash influences, the band has managed to incorporate a little bit more of noise, death metal, and interestingly enough, sludge metal at times. The sound is bigger, darker, deeper, more monstrous, raw, and more vicious than the last time around, and the drums especially have taken a turn for the more improvisational. You still hear a lot of blast beats and a lot of fast-paced D-beats, but there are a lot of tom attacks thrown around, and there's somewhat of a room left for improvisation in all these little arrangements. Still in keeping with the grind tradition, these songs are just short bursts of ugly, disgusting, despicable violence that you are just going to love, but this time you're not going to be asking for more like an Oliver Twist, you will be begging for more like you were starring in the 50 Shades of Grey, the unabridged version. Because the band decided to stop pummeling you over the head with a sledgehammer, but instead decided to keep you in a chokehold until you're choked the fuck out, the album is absolutely fucking suffocating. The album may be short, but it is definitely not fucking painless, I can tell you that for free. In fact, the EP is so goddamn relentless that by the time the penultimate track kicks in and turns out to be just a run-of-the-mill grindcore track, you feel actually relieved to hear something a little bit softer than you have been hearing throughout this EP. I mean, think about it. Regular grindcore feels softer on this one. Interestingly enough, the run-of-the-mill grindcore song also feels like the opening of the final track, which sort of veers into emo violence territory somewhat and ends on a rather mathcore-like note for some reason. So in summation, this is 7 tracks and 9 minutes of the most oppressive, darkest, most vicious, most choking, most suffocating grindcore that you are likely to hear, and it is definitely a touch darker than the band's previous works. If you're into grindcore variants, hardcore punk, death metal, or hard and fast and dark music and like a little bit of noise and extremely raw production in your music, this is definitely for you. Everybody else, there are other albums for you to check out before you come to this one, but you may still check this one out. I think you might like it. So I think I'm just going to listen to this one again. Until next time, it's Eason. Peace out, motherfuckers.